Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Pegasus Bridge, and in this one I'm going to be using the 716th Infantry Division. You may notice this is exactly the same division that I used to play against Val in the last 1v1 that I put on the channel. And this is actually for a reason. This is the second 1v1 that I played with the deck, and I've made some improvements and some adjustments to my strategy, and so I wanted to try it out again. And this time I had a random opponent who was oddball, who is going to be using the 15th Infantry Division. So let's have a quick look at the units that I'm starting with. A couple Osttruppen on the right with a pack, and then I've got a few more Osttruppen here that are going to be moving up to the right side of the town in the centre. I've got a couple more Osttruppen moving up here as well, assisted by a mortar, a BjnGPkZDhkiE, and a command infantry squad. So that's pretty much my start. It's just all Osttruppen, a couple fire support units, the MG and mortar there. Then over on the left side, 2 Osttruppen with the pack, and that's pretty much how I'm going to play out most of this game. It's reliant on the Osttruppen. My Pak 37 is getting on target of the Humber here and does get the kill, destroying the recon squad as well. Managed to pick that up at the start of the kill. That was really nice. And seeing that my AT gun is here, my opponent is forced to drop out his units early in order to move into the trees there. I move forwards my Osttruppen, try and make some ground on the left side, but they're currently sitting on the road trying to take on multiple entrenched infantry. Not the best place for them to be in. For the rifles, not the most impressive squads of infantry, so not doing too much damage to the Osttruppen at the moment. So I've also decided to bring in a Panzer B2 at the start of the game, and this guy is pretty epic. He has not only his main gun, but he also has the howitzer on the front of it, and that allows him to engage at 1000 meter range and do a lot of damage. A continuing engagement on the left side. I've spread out some Osttruppen in the field here that probably could have been trying to sneak up, and did have some orders to kind of move up as far as they could. And then over in this right side I've managed to get some Osttruppen up to almost surround this infantry and AT gun here, getting up into the town on the far right. So since this Osttruppen knows that I know that there's a 6-pounder here, I'm bringing over the Panzer B2 because the Panzer can actually very efficiently destroy a 6-pounder if it can get on target. So the B2 has 2 HE power, and it has an 8 HE power machine gun with a 9 HE power explosive value on the howitzer. So if it can basically get a shot off basically on the 6-pounder, you're winning, which is what I'm kind of trying to go for here. I'm also trying to get the Osttruppen into range to like distract them, and you can see since I've like spotted the 6-pounder, I'm going to be trying to go for that shot, but I do get bailed out. This 6-pounder was indeed up-vetted 2-star veterancy, so it was likely for it to hit that first shot, and therefore I lose my B2. A bit of a mistake on my part. Maybe I shouldn't have been so greedy and tried to get that kill, but if I had, then I would have been able to roll over not only the rifle leader but the Vickers HMG and any infantry that I had on that right side. In the centre it would have been a lot harder because getting line of sight in this centre town is actually extremely hard. Just going to put it to my point of view for a second so you can see what I can see. Bringing up some more Osttruppen to secure my position on the right because I didn't expect to get so far up on this right side at the beginning of the game, but securing these buildings is actually pretty important for like maintaining the +1 early on. I'm only 52% conquest victory at the moment in terms of territory, so +1 in my favour, but any points are helpful at this point. This Osttruppen is all the way up here and managed to push through the tree line, which was great, and that's creating a little pocket where these MG carriers are trying to make their way forwards. And these MG carriers, I mean, they're really annoying because I can't really deal with them. I don't have any A2 weapons on my infantry, but since he's actually moved the command carrier very close to my Osttruppen here, he's allowing the Osttruppen to throw their like close range grenades, and in this case, homing grenade, yeah, it flew a very long way, but eventually misses the MMG carrier. That's quite funny. It must have been one of those, you know, handheld grenades with wings. I can't remember what they're called that the Germans had and can throw them quite far. But either way, they are getting cut off there. They're making a lot of territory, but then like as they move too far, they're getting cut off from their territory. What ends up happening either way with the MMG carrier so close is the MG42 here gets destroyed. They connect their territory. It cuts off both of my Ostruppen up here, but they're still alive, so that's good. And I'm still maintaining the +1 with this little bubble. He's really got to get rid of that bubble, and currently the only thing that's holding it is the MMG carrier here. The front line's really dramatically trying to work out what to do. And I'm really being overrun in the middle at the moment. If we go to his point of view, he doesn't have too much here to capitalize on it. He's got a couple of rifle squads. He's trying to move forwards the rifle leader. He's trying to cut off this Ostruppen. And over on the right side, he's actually committing quite heavily with a Honey Stuart here and a Humber Mark III, along with some infantry and a rifle leader and so on to take on these Ostruppen. But my Ostruppen is so cheap that none of this really matters to me at the moment, as long as I'm holding more ground than him. But we're moving to a 50-50 now. I've lost a lot of stuff in the middle, and I'm going to start to entirely lose the middle of the map. And what this mainly came down to was my lack of the use of the IG-18s and also lack of AT weaponry in the center of the map. I probably should have looked at the Scots division and been like, okay, so he's using Scots, what's he going to have? He's going to have recon that comes in, you know, MMG carriers, you know, the scouts do, for example. And he has other things that come in like armored vehicles. Now, if I hadn't sacrificed my B2 early, that wouldn't have been a problem in the center of the map, and most of my Ostruppen would still be alive. But since I made that mistake, I really suffered for it, and not having like an extra Pak 37 like in the center of the map, you know, really showed. So I managed to get an MG34 squad up here. I'm trying to get that into the building to start making back some ground here, just moving up some more Ostruppen squads to fill up the gaps, and I'm bringing up another MG34. I've also brought up a Pak 37 to help deal with some of the command carriers and MMG carriers. Over on this right side, I'm still being hit very hard by the rifles and the rifle leader here. Each Ostruppen squad that gets revealed will get killed off very quickly now due to the amount of fire support that he has on that right side. But the point is they are holding, and the Ostruppen, yeah, they're not fantastic, but you know, they hold ground, and that's what matters. Over here you can see the Ostruppen do unfortunately surrender to a command carrier when they get pinned down by the Vickers HMG here, and that was annoying because that really poked a hole into my front line and gave him the +1 now. So I managed to get 275 points up on my opponent, and now I'm a little bit worried about how I'm going to win this match because I've lost a lot of my infantry already, and he's continuing to push on me. But here the Ostruppen, they're still doing a lot of damage. Still taking on these rifles quite well. The Honey is moving around to support those, and I actually kill off the rifle squad there. I've got 2 AT guns to help with the command carrier and Honey, and once those vehicles are dead, my Ostruppen can actually do quite a good job. Furthermore, I'm bringing up some more infantry now, and I've also got Kubel MG here with the recon squad. So this is Aufkläder in the Kubel MG, and I believe these are both Fusilier squads. And the Fusilier squad for the right, 100 meter range AT weapon, allows me to basically ambush. That was the idea. And I've also got one for the center just to help with the Churchill should it move up. But the Churchill here, alongside the 6-pounder, the 6-pounder actually getting the kill there onto my B2. He actually moved that into the middle of the town. Really nice idea to get rid of that B2. So I'm struggling at the moment. His rifles and fire support is a lot better than mine. He's got Churchill 5 in the center, he's got Churchill 5 on the left, he's got his Honey and the command carrier on the right. My infantry front line is basically disintegrated, and I didn't support it enough with IG-18s and the Fusiliers. I didn't have any Fusiliers. Imagine if I had Fusiliers in the center town. Those like MG carriers and command carriers, they'd be dead because they have 100 meter range AT gun or AT like grenades, right? So yeah, that was an issue. And here you can see MG carrier close range gonna basically tear apart my Ostruppen as they try and make a run for the building there, but get caught out. So not much I can do about that, and I could try falling them back, but it wouldn't really make much of a difference at this point. Typhoon comes in, takes out one of my AT guns on the right side as well, and this is looking pretty dire, as you can probably tell. So I'm moving the Kubel MG here to the left. I'm actually trying to hide that in order to stop the front line pushing so far in my favour, as well as bringing up the Avklara squad to join the Fusiliers here. We've got the Fusiliers on the right. They're going to help me deal with a recon squad, and the rifle leader still moving forwards up here, but they're not going to come into range of my Fusiliers, unfortunately. I've got a LEFH 1419, brought that up to provide some artillery fire onto the infantry and 6-pounders as they approach. But what I'm going to have to try and do now is move across the Pak 37 from the right in order to take on the honey. Now the LEFH can actually fire direct fire onto this honey here, so I'm going to continue to try and do that at the moment. And with these vehicles actually busy with the LEFH, it allows my Pak 37 to get a shot onto these units. Now I focused on the command carrier first because that's the unit that's in range of actually attacking my AT gun. So I wanted to kill that, and then I want to focus on the honey. This honey is trying to make my LEFH surrender, and it does. Probably wasn't the best idea to bring that in on the right. I would have been better off spending those points on even a Pak 40 that I know I have in this deck. But either way, this infantry squad's still alive up here. And that's allowing me to make back a lot of ground in the center where I would otherwise be losing a ton of ground. But after killing the Stuart here, thanks to this Pak 37, I do make back a lot of ground on the right again, and we go back to around a 50%, with me actually having slightly a lead, really, in the overall territory, having this little pocket pushing through. On the left side, this was just a constant Ostrupen engagement versus rifles, and he couldn't really utilize the Churchill 5 properly throughout the game. Although he maybe might have been able to try and push that through, since I didn't have any AT left on the left side after he killed my pack. So yeah, what happened on the left side was his Churchill did come up and kill that pack. And once he'd done that, I think he probably should have realised that he could have pushed all the way through, because the Ostrupen don't have anything to deal with tanks, and neither does the Grenführer. So yeah, he was pretty safe to move up. Either way, more infantry on its way. These guys are more Fusiliers, I feel, and the Ostrupen here are getting pinned down slowly by the MMG carrier and the rifles. But he's struggling with ammunition currently. His rifles here have run out of Lee Enfield ammo, and this command carrier has run out of ammo as well, so that's a big problem. Over here I bring up a Flak 88. We've moved into phase B now, so my Flak 88s are available. These guys are 1-star. Veteran C coming with this machine gun vehicle, but what ends up happening is the 6-pounders getting on target there manages to pin down my Flak 88 straight away, because it blows up the vehicle next to it. Panzer 35 was brought up to provide the Flak 88 with extra veteran C whilst providing fire support on the ground, and I also have some Italian infantry coming up now. So that's actually what those two cars were. Some more Italian infantry coming up. So these Italian infantry are really good. It's got the Panzerfaust here. I'm trying to use that to take out the MMG carrier, but they actually just end up using their grenades to take out the MMG carrier, so that worked out well. And with both of those units on target, with the Fusilier using a 70-34, I'm trying to pin down the Fusiliers in the church. I'm also bringing up a Panzer 35 to possibly help with the Churchill, but mainly just to provide command for the Italian infantry here, and if they can get their Panzerfaust on target, the Churchill 5 should be good to go. But I mean, what ends up happening is this Churchill 5 has a free shot onto these Italian infantry, and that stops me from getting them into this building where they would have been in range to kill the one in the town, so that sucked. And then these guys get caught out by the Churchill as it moves out of range as well, so those Churchills really becoming a bane of my life at the moment. And this Flak 88 has survived and is slowly moving up. Now I've also brought up a Pioneer Führer to accompany it, since the Panzer 35 sitting in the open over here was not a good idea against the 6-pounder, and I've also got the Italian infantry here in the hedgerow just to cover the road. I've also got Panzer 35, I moved that over to the right just to assist with the Fusilier and the Pak 37 on this side of things. But in the centre, things are pretty dire. I mean, I lost my Italian infantry, or at least one squad of them. Now I've just got the Panzer 35. This can take on the Churchill if it can get close enough, but the Churchill does have 9 front armour, so it's still going to be a bit of an issue. This Ostrupen, these guys were absolute heroes. Like, I don't know how they managed to stay alive for so long, but they were literally there for like half the map. and that gave me so much ground where I probably shouldn't have had any, or would have probably been at like a +2 in the opponent's favour for a lot of the game. Here I'm sacrificing the SDhkiE just to reveal some positions, and that does reveal the 6-pounder there. That's a 5-point truck with a machine gun on it, so although it can be useful fire support, in this case I just used it to try and gain some information of where there was stuff available. 25-pounder has been brought up by Oddball to counter my Flak 88, and honestly that was a really nice idea. The best way to counter Flak 88s is with artillery. I'll say it every time, but that's basically the best way to counter artillery, because not only can the Flak 88s not fire back, but you know, they have quite large man squads, so stunning them is a lot more effective than killing them. And, well, this is another Flak 88 that I've brought up in the meantime, assisted by my Pioneer Führer for the extra veterancy. Starting to make my Flak 88 wall that I absolutely love to with this deck. So these Osttruppen are currently in this building. I probably should have put them on return fire just to keep them hidden so they kept influencing the front line without actually firing. I'm maintaining ground on the left side somehow. I've got Pioneer Führer and some of my Italian infantry moving over to the left. But yeah, the Osttruppen there just to hold the line at the moment. We've got my Italian infantry here holding fire with return fire, and then these Fusiliers actually open up onto the rifles once the Osttruppen gets revealed here. And now I'm trying to engage the Honey with the Panzer 35, and what ends up happening was my Panzer 35 I think breaks the track of the Honey and then is forced to fall back since it loses the engagement, but the Pak 37 picks up the kill there. Now Oddball's continuing to RT where my AT gun was. My 88's actually moved forwards now, so I'm going to use that to provide fire support for my Italian infantry, and they're also trying to bring in a Typhoon to rocket my infantry squad, and they do manage to get the rocket strike off, but it doesn't actually do much damage to my infantry. And while with the Typhoon gone, the Flak 88s can focus on the ground. I'm going to try and take out the Vickers HMG there. I do have a Werframmen that I brought up. That does actually manage to land a rocket directly on top of my infantry there, but it also manages to take out the HMG, the AT gun, and the command infantry. So that was actually quite effective strike by my Werframmen, which is the small little tank with the 4 rockets on the back of it. Really derpy looking unit, but definitely did the job. So yeah, I'm pushing up on this right side now, just trying to make some ground back, supported by the Flak 88s. Crocodile's not going to do anything against the Flak 88. And I also have the Pak 37 here. As long as that Crocodile doesn't get in flame range, I should be okay to just keep that Crocodile pinned. In the center, I'm still sort of losing ground, but the reason that I'm not losing the +1 at the moment is because of this on the left side. I've actually managed to push forwards my Italian infantry with the Pioneer Führer to make some ground around the left side of these buildings, and now what I'm looking to do is run my Italian infantry into this little building on the edge of the map, because that would be a real pain in the ass for the enemy to get rid of. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, but fortunately for him, the Vickers HMG here does pick up on my Fusilier squad, so I'm going to be pinning those down. My Italian infantry is trying to make a run for it on that left side. Trying to use my Kubel MG to help pin down the rifle leader there, and this Flak 88 is still very much alive, so that takes out a Stuart on the right side, the basically the Stuart support vehicle that was. Flak 30 or Pak 37's engaging the Crocodile, does get taken out. Pak 37 eventually going to lose that fight either way, because it never really is going to have the AP power to penetrate the front armor of the Crocodile unless it gets a side shot. So I'm bringing up now a Flak 88 for the right side specifically to take on the Crocodile. So what I want to do is get that into line of sight and blow the crap out of the Crocodile. So I'm kind of using my Flaks as basically tanks at the moment. If the Crocodile does fire its gun, the Flak 88 is going to actually stun. Well, the Flak 88 is going to get stunned in 2 shots by the Crocodile, which was not ideal. The Crocodile actually had 5 HE power, but this one manages to get in line of sight after some of the smoke dissipates, and well, goodbye to the Churchill. So That's actually a really expensive unit for the opponents gotten rid of, and my Fusiliers now are engaging these Bren group who aren't going to do much, and my Italian infantry is still alive on the road alongside some Aufkläder at the top side who are actually providing recon onto all of these Bofors and so on. So if I put it to my point of view, you can see that I very much know that there's all of these like Bofors here with the 3-inch mortars, and I know there's 25-pounders back there trying to RT my Flak 88s, but I've got quite a lot of them. Keeping the weaker ones back, trying to continue to move forwards, the one that's got quite a lot of health. And I've got another one coming up now, so that's going to be a 4th Flak 88. Panzer 35 is just trying to push forwards, gets almost hit by a Piat from the rifle leader squad. Kubel MG finally goes down to the 25-pounder there, but because it was sat next to the Flak 88. This SDhkiE, again using it for recon information, reveals another rifle leader squad, and the Vickers HMG does get destroyed. And my Panzer 35 here, alongside the Italian infantry, is now taking out some scouts who have revealed my infantry in the centre. My Fusiliers did go down in the middle, so I'm running a little bit light here, for sure. But I've still managed to get forwards quite a lot on this left side. Now this advance, I believe, was stopped by this 3-inch mortar that managed to get a lot of rounds on target, so I was basically forced to keep my line further back, but still poking a little hole on this left side, which is allowing me to maintain the 50-50. With another Flak 88 available, I'm now engaging their units all the way up here. I dropped this off as far forwards as I could, and now it's helping me get rid of the Vickers HMGs. It's hitting the enemy AT guns. You know, we've hit the mortar already. You'll see this one is going to take out the mortar for me, because these do have 1,200 meter range, and we're able to hit pretty much anything we can see from this range. So here comes a Typhoon, going to be bringing in an ME-109. The Flak 88s are going to basically force that to retreat straight away. My ME-109 does manage to shoot down the Typhoon before it gets away, and then I managed to get my ME-109 out of there as well before the Bofors can do too much. So that worked out really, really well. Now, in my opinion, if Oddball had used his 25-pounder to take out this Flak 88 with 1 health left, that would have been really good. But if we switch to his point of view, I don't think he can see it a lot of the time over on this side. And that's why he wasn't targeting it. You can see this one, and he should definitely be targeting the ones with lower health. But what's happening now is my Flak 88s are actually creeping up so much, they're in range to actually fire on the 25-pounders themselves, and I stopped this one from firing altogether, and with 2-star Flak 88 isn't going to miss too much, so that's going to be able to actually almost kill off the 25-pounder entirely. Bringing in an ME-109G0 here to try and finish off the 25-pounder. Spitfire is going to be coming in to take on my ME-109. I need one more shot to land on target with the Spitfire to save my ME-109, and that comes in, and I managed to get away with my aircraft there. I bring in a second ME-109 to start trying to control the skies and take down that Spitfire, but instead I'm just going to use it to pin down the Bofors there and allow this ME-109 to do whatever it likes. So, brought up another unit of Italian infantry here, and these guys are just getting constantly pinned down by the Churchill. I think because I was focused so hard on my Flak 88 micro on the right, I didn't see these guys soon enough and didn't fall them back quick enough. But what I'm trying to do here is move forward these Italian infantry, try and get them into this building. I'm trying to get the Pak 37 into a position where I can shoot the Churchill in the side armor as well. So just trying to creep that up at the moment. You'll see I'm just trying to get that into line of sight. Currently, I think it was just out of line of sight because the Churchill was just outside the line of sight range, so it would have needed to go over a little bit further in order to get that shot off. That's why it wasn't firing. So I was kind of just waiting for him to maybe reverse that or something, and I was going to try and maybe force it back here by moving up my Panzer 35. But what ends up happening is, since he saw that coming, 3-inch mortar comes in, spoils the fun, and well, goodbye to my AT gun. So my Flak 88 here is still able to hit the 17-pounder and the 25-pounder here. Going to be smashing that 17-pounder to pieces. Got some Italian infantry moving up on the right to engage as assault pioneers and Bren group. And these Italian infantry squads, they're really, really good. They really outmatch anything the Scots can bring in at this point. The only trouble is these assault pioneers do have the 22 AP power satchel grenade, and what ends up happening is he makes both of those Italian infantry surrender with one satchel. And that was my fault. The way I could have avoided that is just brought a command infantry unit with them, and that was really a big issue, because if I had a command infantry unit there, I could have fell them back, and the assault pioneers would have been out of a satchel charge, and I would have been able to continue to move forwards. I take out his supply unit here because I don't want him resupplying his 25 pounder with more ammunition, so definitely going to make that shot. In the center, I literally have nothing here. I was really surprised not to see him like try and push a little bit more in the middle, because it's normally quite a contested area, but I'd brought his attention over to this right side, and now he's really worried about the multiple Flak 88s that are moving up here, alongside this Verflammen, which is now actually moving up, resupplied by this Opel Blitz, in order to provide another strike onto the enemy infantry and allow me to move up with more of my own. So I'm not making the same mistake again. Got a command infantry unit this time to join some more of my Italian infantry to push on the right side. Over on the left, meanwhile, a Honey has broken through alongside the Churchill 5. This is what I was talking about earlier, where he could have noticed this a lot sooner. And basically, they managed to get past my Fusiliers, who had a couple of goes at firing their gammon bombs to blow up a tank, but missed both of them. And yeah, they managed to get Honey Stewart and a Churchill through, because there's no AT here at all. If I had my Italian infantry here, it would have been okay. It's going to bring over 2 Spitfires, but what I'm going to do is just fly to the right side, bring him towards my 88 cover. I'm also going to drop off this Flak 88 early, just to try and get rid of those Spitfires. That's just going to allow me to come back in again and strafe the Honey. So now I'm just going to slowly attack move the Flak 88 forwards to eventually counter the Churchill, just keeping that Honey pinned down. On the right side, I'm continuously moving up with the Italian infantry. I use my Verflammen to basically burn all of these buildings, as you can see. And the last unit that's left is a Bren group here. So from my perspective, all I can see is just a Bren group. I'm still using my Flak 88s here. I'm using this SDhkiE to just push up the road. And, well, this time I don't decide to suicide it, but I just decide to use the MG42 to use suppressive fire. Now Spitfire is going to come in to take out my ME109s, but yeah, runs into a flak wall, and that's going to be very dead. So Daimler AC going to be coming over. That bumps into my Fusiliers, who once again miss a gammon bomb, which was not very fun. This Fusilier was exactly in that position to ambush anything that came down the road, since I noticed that I didn't have any AT guns on this side. But either way, the Honey goes down to the Flak 88 eventually, and well, he's losing influence on his Churchill 5 as well. Managing to get some shots onto the Daimler AC there as well. In the middle though, there's still nothing here. Focusing solely on this right side, pushing through where I am strongest. My half track is moving forwards, and I'm also going to get my Italian infantry towards the 25 pounder here, and that's going to be dead as well. So he brought in the right counter to deal with my Flak 88s, but I think he just didn't anticipate me bringing them in and dropping them off so close to the front line, because I basically, like I said, used them like tanks. They have 12 health, like 12 strength, and it allows me to just bring them up with no consequence, really. Like the ones that are alive with still like 2 and 3 health have been hit by artillery for most of the game, but they managed to survive, which is really nice. So here Flak 88 is going to kill a unit of infantry in their armoured vehicle, which is really nice. Just pick up another kill there. That actually probably took out the command unit on the right side as well. I also take out a mortar. And the only thing that I'm really having to deal with at the moment is this priest, and as you can see, well, I can see it, so I know very well where it is, and I'm just bringing up now an AT gun. This is a Pak 43 to lead the charge with the Flak 88s, and I've also destroyed another Bedford there. All of his reinforcements slowly dying. Here what happens is the Daimler tries to retreat and gets killed by my Italian infantry, and my Flak 88 actually ended up killing the Churchill as well. So yeah, we dealt with all of the stuff over on this left side, and I brought over a second Flak 88 for the left. So this deck is very much like Flak 88s plus infantry, and that's what you rely on. So my ME-109s are pretty much free to fly around and do whatever they want at this point, because I've got 2 Flak 88s on the left, I've got 4 on the right. If any aircraft come in, they're going to get stunned. So I can just continuously suppress enemy aircraft, and as you can see, I'm just going to go straight into them here with an engagement. ME-109's going to have a total fun time. I split off one ME-109 for one of the Spitfires, and this one's trying to chase off that one. Managed to get on target here. The first one actually gets away. Not entirely sure, but I think this one might do too. Yeah, it does. Both the Spitfires managed to just get out of there, but then what I do is bring in the ME-109, and that's going to be firing into the rear armor of the priest here. I'm trying to take out these priests, or at least stop them firing at my Flak 88s, because they are the only things that will counter my Flak 88s other than off-map artillery. But I know that the Scots off-map at this point isn't that great, so I can keep my Flak 88s pretty concentrated. We jump to the neutral perspective. You can see I've actually rushed up my birth ram in here as well to also force the priest to fall back, and that allows me to just keep moving forwards these Flak 88s. And I've brought up more Italian infantry for the right side, which outclasses his rifles every time, and the Bren group as well. So it's basically got to the phase where all of my stuff outclasses his, which isn't something that I would say happens very often for the 716th, but is pretty much the only reason that I'm growing such a lead at this point. Now, Oddball had 700 points up on me. He continuously brought in the Spitfires, who was very persistent, but I've got 58% territory lead, which is giving me a +2, so I'm quickly catching up to him at the moment, after having such a terrible start, really. But like I said, there was reasons for my terrible start. Didn't have enough support guns, really. That's pretty much it. Didn't bring in a Pak 37 for the middle, and I didn't bring in any IG-18s during this game, when they are probably one of the best assets of this deck. And I've really started to incorporate them into my strategy since this game. I definitely watched this one back afterwards to see what I could have done better, and this is, well, me showing it to you guys. I'm bringing in the HS-129, like I said, with complete air domination with all of these Flak 88s. There's nothing they can do to really stop me from coming in and killing like half of their units. So use the HS-129 to try and take care of the Bedford supply there, make that blow up, because I saw it was next to the mortar, as you can see. If that Bedford had blown up, it might have done a little bit damage to the mortar there, but instead of what I'm going to try and do is come over and actually try and kill off one of the priests here. The only issue with this is I'm getting very close to the enemy air spawn, and if they like ambush me with Spitfires, then I'm probably going to lose my HS-129. And what ends up happening is the Spitfires come in here, and exactly that. I'm too close to their air spawn. HS-129 is going to go down before the second Spitfire can be stunned. So a bit of a mistake on my part, should have been watching the ammo, but as soon as those Spitfires are out of there, thanks to the Flak 88s, it's time for a second try. HS-129's going to be giving it their best shot. Typhoon AT tries to come in to rocket at least one of my Flak 88s, but that's going to get pinned down. HS-129 here actually manages to use its machine gun to hit the 17-pounder very hard. And the reason I basically targeted that was because I lost sight onto the priests. I really needed to move this Aufklärer further forward so that I could spot that. Now, since I've found the time, I've started to move up Fusilier Squad and some more Italian infantry in the second, and the firing has opened up again in the centre. And over on this left side, well, I don't know what ended up happening here, but I think auto cover made both of my Flak 88s move into the same bush, and they ended up getting pinned down and killed by the mortar, which wasn't ideal. This time round, HS-129 is going to get hit very hard, but manages to get away with it this time. I'm going to be able to just keep that in the air. It's still got 12 ammunition. Using it to try and kill this Vickers HMG. This Vickers HMG actually, just like my Osttrooper up here, survived for so long I put so much firepower into that Vickers HMG as well, and it just didn't want to die. Spitfire is going to be coming over here to join my ME-109s in an engagement, but Spitfire doesn't really stand a chance. As soon as the Flak 88 fires another shot, that's going to be forced to retreat, and ME-109s can get on target. So I feel like that was a bit of a mistake on Oddball's side of things. You could have waited until the second Spitfire was available to try and start challenging my ME-109s. Yes, my ME-109s were like harassing his ground forces, but they don't do too much damage. They just suppress stuff. But I've really started to gain some momentum in the centre now and all over the map, so I'm going to be starting to bring in some of my Samuas. And I've also got a Ju-88 here. This one has the 4-7 HE power bombs. I've since removed this from my deck since I don't find it that useful, but in this case, just wanted to finally get rid of the Vickers HMG there, which was pinning down my infantry for half the game. Over on this side, Flak 88 is going to be having a go at this Vickers HMG, which survives a direct shot from the Flak 88. I don't know how that happened, but it ended up pinning down my Flak 88, I believe. Ah, there we go. Yeah, it was the mortar that ended up pinning it down and doing a lot of damage. But yeah, the mortar manages to finish the job, which was kind of annoying. Either way, time to bring up some more AA for the left side, just so that I can play around with my fighters a bit more. And that was pretty much the only reason. These are actually flak fillings, they're not more Flak 88s. And yeah, it's pretty much just so that I can continue to strafe on the left side without having to be worried about Spitfires coming in and neutralizing my aircraft. So Flak 88's still moving up, but the artillery is slowly getting the better of me. However, there's 3 minutes and 15 seconds left on the map, and I'm at a +2 lead still. I've managed to get a really nice sort of area of influence on the right side with my infantry, sneaking it up all over the place. In the centre I'm still making some ground. Panzer 35S is coming up to help the advance of my Italian infantry and so on, so yeah. On this left side, maybe should have been trying to push through to this building again, but didn't really bother as I was so focused on the right side, and holding that right side was pretty micro-intensive with the Flak 88s, making sure that they were moving in the directions I needed them to and trying to avoid the artillery as best as I could throughout the entire game. Yeah, eventually it gets down to the point where I only have one Flak 88 left on the right, but the damage is done, that's the main point. The Typhoon AT does manage to strafe my ground forces, but does get forced back after 2 hits from one of my Flak 88s. So this Flak 88 is still going hard. The 3-inch mortar there going to be taken out. I'm now moving forwards my Flak fillings to directly support my Osttruppen on the ground. SDhkiE engaging the assault pioneers within Lee Enfield range. Probably should have moved them back so that they weren't in range, but oh well. Another mortar coming in here to spoil the day for my flak fillings. And I'm trying to make the run for the Italian infantry now over on that left side. HS-129 coming in. Got to be a bit careful with this, that's why I'm keeping it on the left side because of these flak fillings, but they're stunned at the moment and I don't actually have any Flak 88 cover, so this Typhoon's coming in for a shot onto my HS-129. It's going to do quite a bit of damage, but I've got my 2 BF-109s available still, and they're going to try and latch onto the Typhoon AT. He's going to be bringing in his own Spitfire Mark 9. Finally kill one of the priests at the back with the HS-129 while this is all going on. Over on this right side, there is a Command Stuart coming up with some Assault Pioneers, and the Assault Pioneers do a lot of damage to my Italian infantry, but the Italian infantry managed to take out the rifle leader in the Stuart before it was dropped off. So this Typhoon's come in to assist with the Spitfire. The Spitfire's going to get hit really hard back there, and I do manage to shoot it down, and I also managed to finish off the Typhoon AT. So 2 really good air kills, and I'm currently hitting all of this stuff really hard on the right side as well. So So he's dealt with my Flak 88s, but my defense is very strong right now. Moves through with a Churchill 6 on the left side. This is a bit of an issue because there's nothing here to defend against it, but there's 14 seconds left on the clock, so saved by the bell. And I've also got my HS-129 in the sky, which is going to have a go, but misses all of its shots. And, well, after an entire 40-odd minutes, I'm going to win the game. So unfortunately at the end of the replay there the game crashed, but I've come back to it in the neutral perspective, so we can see that after 40 minutes I reached victory by time limit. And here was the kills and losses. So 3,565 kills to 3,045 losses for myself, which was quite interesting, honestly. I didn't expect myself to have a positive KD. It's not that positive. I mean, a Pyrrhic victory at best, but either way, pretty close. And I guess it kind of tells the story of the game in a lot of ways, that there was times in which he probably could have broken through and really like gained a lot of control on the map. But there is always that sort of thought in your head, like, is there going to be an AT gun hidden somewhere? Is there going to be like a Panzerstrike squad, like randomly going to ninja my tank? And yeah, there's always those thoughts that come into your mind. But I think what really happened in this game was just I used my Ostrupen so much better than I did when I was playing against Val. Yeah, I sacrificed a lot of them and a lot of them died, but they made the ground where they needed to early on in order to me to get it to phase C, and then be able to bring up like Flak 88s and other fire support to help me push through and really solidify my lead against the Scots deck. I think against other decks, I maybe wouldn't have made so much ground in phase C. Like, if I came up against a deck with a lot of off-map artillery, my Flak 88s really wouldn't have made that much ground. But in this case, the Scots don't have the best off-map artillery, so that really showed in this one, although by the end of the game, he had managed to get the better of those Flak 88s. We jump over to the kills. These are the Allied kills. His 6-pounder picking off that B2 was really a big issue. He also managed to kill a Grenadier and an MG42 with a 6-pounder. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Must have taken out the units in their vehicles. This MMG carrier destroyed a couple of Ostrupen, took out my mortar and the MG34. This Honey, again, picking up some Ostrupen, even killed off a Pak 40 and my LEF H1419. This 6-pounder taking out a B2 and a Befehl Panzer 35S. These Churchill 5s were a big issue for me, killing a lot of the Ostrupen MG34s, some Italian infantry, a couple of AT guns. So yeah, crazy stuff. And eventually what ended up happening was a 3-inch mortar killed a couple of my Flak 88s, and then a 4.2-inch mortar killed the rest. And yeah, I eventually killed this second mortar, but it had already done the damage by then. The Spitfire did take down one of my HS-129s. If we jump to the losses, and this is just where you can see my Pak 37s paying themselves off. The B2 definitely not paying itself off, only getting the MMG carrier kill. I should have had way more kills. The Panzer like dying so early on was just horrific. I really shouldn't have lost it to the AT gun at the start of the game. But my Flak 88's really bringing it back for me. This one in particular, taking out many of the enemy's units. Crocodile there, Command Stuart, 17-pounder AT guns. This Flak 88 paid itself off like 5 times over. Really crazy. All of the Flak 88s really did well. This one maybe not so much, but in general, all of them paid themselves off. And also aside from that, my airplanes did well as well. So this ME-109 taking out the 2 Typhoons. I think I also managed to shoot down 2 Spitfires with one of my ME-109s, so that was really good as well. Where is it? I'm pretty sure there was a ME-109. Yes, here it is. Yeah, that one took out 2 of the 2-star Spitfires, so awesome stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.